Pleasant good night to all of my viewers, listeners, fans, those who are listening and viewing for the first time. As usual, welcome to your favorite knowledge channel. As you know, we post weekly videos, and this week is no exception as we continue the good work that you have been supporting. As usual, we start off with a motivational word, and the word that I'll share today, I would like to paraphrase the late great Dennis Franklin, the merchant, Calypsonian extraordinaire, when he said, think about the children. But in paraphrasing that, I would like you to think about those who have fallen. And as you are well aware, as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, many have fallen out of life. But many who are still surviving have fallen very badly on hard times. So think about those who have fallen, because we can never be sure when we ourselves will be in that same situation. So let us, send out collective concern, a collective prayer, a collective meditative thought, and most importantly, hopefully we'll reach a point where we can take collective action to lift those who need lifting more than others. In one way or the other, we all need to be lifted up, but certainly those who have fallen away in terms of unemployment, in terms of illness, in terms of mental breakdowns, let us think about them. So of course we need to think about the children, but we need to think of all parts of humanity who have been affected in one way or the other. So having shared the word with you, I would just like to remind you that we are available through our organization in providing coaching services and providing workshops in areas such as leadership, public speaking, the role of psychology in business, emotional intelligence, etc. So I just like to remind you that I am your life coach and psychologist who is available to assist you in becoming a more refined you, understanding your concerns, overcoming them, and helping you to triumph. So I am ready through my organization, through my company, to help, and all you have to do is send us a call at 778-5141 or 779-2544, or send us an email at leadershipwithadifference@gmail.com. So today's talk, first and foremost, it will be focused on Trinidad and Tobago, but we'll also extend it a bit outwards. And I would like to remind all those from Trinidad and Tobago who live in Trinidad and Tobago or any part of the world, if they remember that today, November the 30th, marks the 3rd anniversary of the closure of the Petrotrin Refinery. So I repeat, I trust that those persons, those thousands of workers, over 5,000, who no longer are employed with Petrotrin, which was a state-owned company, landmark organization, emerging from its predecessors, Trintoc, Trintopec, and the merger of Trintoc and Trintopec and Trimma into Petrotrin. So many persons built their livelihoods and their name, their identity through that organization. And whilst those who might have been more in tune in terms of how the industry was going or the company was going, and may not have been totally surprised, those who were totally surprised and those who were not surprised, it marked the end of an era in terms of the energy sector in Trinidad and Tobago. So what I'm saying is that many of those persons, have we spared thought to know how they make it out? Alright? Have you asked yourself the question in terms of have they found alternative employment? Have they created new businesses? are those who are receiving a pension. How are they making it? Are their pensions sufficient to satisfy recurrent expenditure and live in a comfortable way? I mean, these questions, the persons affected certainly, will have to ask themselves these questions. And 3 years on, one will hope that, positive action has been taken by many to move forward. But if we follow the newspaper reports, at least over the first year of this situation, many of those reports were very heart-rendering in terms of the economic turmoil, the psychological stresses that former workers were undergoing. And from anecdotal evidence, which of course we're not placing ultimate value on, but from previous workers who were employees about other workers, the situation has really been a very distressing one. Now, once we have life, it's an opportunity to move forward. And there were also positive stories in persons who pivoted and adjusted, who started other businesses. I remember reading a story about a former employee who went into the transport industry. I read a story about a lady who got involved in consulting and coaching. And there are other persons who would have started businesses. But there are many workers who did not even qualify for a pension. Many of them were under 40 years, many of them were in serious debt. There are many of those who did qualify for a pension. Some of those, depending on how they manage their finances, were still under financial stress. So as an educator, as a social scientist, as a social activist, I have always been concerned about the impact of that situation. And when you put COVID-19 on top of that, we can see it is certainly a very explosive situation. So as much as I call for you to remember the workers, the thousands of workers who were affected with the closure of the Petrotrin Refinery, we all know that because of the COVID-19 pandemic, we need to remember some of our own families that have been affected by people as a result of the pandemic who are no longer in work. And as we know, the world economy is very sluggish. So it calls for a lot of deep belief, a lot of clear vision, a lot of clear plans in terms of how we can maneuver. And to maneuver, we know that not everyone may have that mental agility and will. So in numbers, there is always strength. And one of the opportunities that certainly presented itself as a result of the closure of the Petrotrin Refinery is where the cooperative model of business and development is one that is more known in terms of the financial sector through credit unions. But there are also non-financial cooperatives, a sector that I'm involved in through the Federation of Agriculture or other cooperatives as its vice president, which is the umbrella body for cooperatives in Trinidad and Tobago. So when you look at the years of experience, knowledge and skills among the former Petrotrin workers, that presented a beautiful opportunity for the formation of cooperatives whereby services can be sold all over the world. Of course, people on an individual level, I'm sure there are workers who did get opportunities further afield. But that still remains a model where that vast knowledge base and skill set can be galvanized and sold as a business option. So my real concern in reminding you about this situation is that we must not allow it to be removed out of the psyche of people here in Trinidad and Tobago and in other countries around the world where workers have been dismissed or relieved of their employment status in such large numbers. We must always pay a thought for them because survival is very, very important and more so now. Another opportunity that presented itself is the question of boosting agricultural production. The government of Trinidad and Tobago, arising out of that closure of the refinery spoke about making lands available to former Petrotrin workers for agricultural purposes and housing purposes. I have not heard thereafter concrete developments as to the moving forward of that suggestion, all right? But given the crisis in the world with food, that too also is a wonderful opportunity. And for getting involved in food production in a way where technology can feature in a prominent way. Because as we all know, with the ravaging effects of climate change, we have plant life is severely challenged and stressed with increasing temperatures, with excessive flooding. Because, whilst water is vital for plant life, too much water is always a threat. Whether it's through flooding or through heavy rainfall, in increased temperatures, the rapid increase and infestation of pests. So technologically, we have the opportunity to look at boosting agricultural production by making technology the yardstick. Because listening to reports of people who are deep in the sector, we know that a lot of the big farms across the world, technology is a big feature of them, and not too many workers are involved. But what I'm saying is that if the lands are being made available, we need to hear more concrete steps as to how that is being moved forward. And we also need to see that those workers have not been forgotten by the authorities. Of course, the workers have a responsibility to act on their own knowledge and experience and skills and try to make something happen. But at least at that level, we need to know that there is some level of concern. Some may argue if they were retrenched in those numbers, does that concern exist? But that argument can go in many different ways in terms of the economic viability of the organization, etc. So I'm saying, let us remember them. And the reason why I did this presentation also, I would like to embark on two studies, right? And the study, the first one is looking at the psychological impact on the former Petrotrin workers as a result of the closure of the refinery in 2018, and also the economic impact. So in other words, we don't want to be basing what we think about this situation on anecdotal evidence or just newspaper reports. We really need to get into serious research. So I'm making a special appeal to many of my students out there, many of my fellow professionals, psychologists, social scientists, to join me in this exercise in terms of researching this development that took place 3 years ago. Because in conducting research, we will be able to draw some concrete body of evidence that will inform us of the true impact of the situation. And in understanding the true impact of the situation, we will have a better appreciation of how it has affected those people, whether in a positive way or a negative way. But certainly we know, even outside of doing the research, the need for ongoing psychological support and the need for economic support, whether it's through entrepreneurial efforts or the creation of job opportunities. Those developments are vitally important in terms of helping to buttress those people who are fighting to contend. As I mentioned earlier on, when you add the COVID-19 situation on top of that, it is not an easy situation. And as we all can see, COVID-19 has transformed life. The quicker we can adjust it, of course, everyone may not be adjusting in the same way, but we know that when things have changed, they have changed, and we do not really go back to the old time days. So I want to encourage you that, we've got to embrace the new paradigm, and at the same time, find effective ways through which we can live and exist to make life, this gift of life, totally enjoy. Because whether it's a pandemic or not, it's a gift that we must not play with, and it's a gift that we must make the very best of. So remember those workers, support me in this crusade, in this research I'm about to embark upon. I also like to extend my ongoing thanks to all those who have subscribed to the channel, all those who have commented about the work in the channel that we are doing. And we are certainly poised to continue the great work that we started about 2 years ago in terms of active presentations via the channel. And I'm appealing for your support, particularly in the context of conducting the research. So going forward, on my description page, there will be a WePay link, whereby if you have felt satisfied and motivated by the work that we have been doing, to support us financially by making contributions that you are capable of doing. And in so doing, I want you to see yourself as part of the crusade and an active contributor in terms of this work that we must continue, because it's not just a question of appealing for support just for the sake of support, but it's developmental work, and we want you to be a part of it, and we want you to play a part. So feel free in making those contributions through the link. Also, feel free and send us your email contact, because we have a number of ongoing courses, such as the fundamentals of public speaking, the role of psychology in business, psychology and you, emotional intelligence and you, and others that are ongoing. So send us your email. You can email us at leadershipwithadifference@gmail.com. You can contact us by phone, 778-5141, 779-2544. So join the crusade, support what we are doing. Of course, my book is also available, Conversations, so send us an email, we will get it on to you, and let the good work continue, and your support, of course, is always appreciated. So, whether it's a one-on-one session for coaching, whether it's a workshop, whether it's a course that you would like to partake in, we are here for you. We are committed to help, we are committed to serve, and we want this crusade to continue full force in 2022. So, remember the fallen Petrotrin workers, support them, help to lift them up. Remember all workers who are being affected all over the globe. Let us think of innovative ways which we can create employment, whereby every one of us can smile a little more brightly, because over the last 20 months, many smiles have been all wiped away. But as I said before, life is still a gift, and we must smile again. Support us in our crusade, and we will make a difference. We thank you for listening, we thank you for tuning in, and stay tuned for another episode next week. Remember, call us at 1-868-778-5141, 1-868-779-2544, or email us at leadershipwithadifference@gmail.com. So stay strong, stay positive, and we'll see you next week, please God. Thank you.